Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're going to be making Parmesan chicken. It takes very few ingredients and it turns out great and people love this dish. So let me get started. This is a great dinner dish that you can plan ahead and it can be done in just a very short amount of time. Let me show you the ingredients. It's going to go in. If you like Italian food, this is really good. And I'm using Prego traditional because it is the best sauce I can find on the market that I like. So I always make my own sauce except for this dish. Okay, so this is one of those easy things you can pick up the ingredients and make this very quickly for your family. I'm also going to be putting mozzarella cheese and also Parmesan cheese in this dish. And it's going to be dipped in egg, and then we're going to have breadcrumbs. You can get Italian breadcrumbs. I have garlic and herb. Any kind of breadcrumb will work for you. And this is the kind of pasta I like to use, either angel hair or capellini. Capellini is the one we're having today. It's really good on a very thin spaghetti type thing. So capellini or angel hair pasta works really well. Okay, to prepare my chicken, I've gone ahead and I cut large chicken breasts in half. So I've just sliced them right in half, and I've already pounded them down a little bit. You don't want to pulverize them, but you want to flatten them a little bit so that they cook evenly. And I've already done that. And the next thing that you do is you're going to put, I have a couple of eggs in here. If you want to check the recipe, it's in my cookbook. It doesn't give amounts because depending on how much chicken you're using or how much whatever you're doing at the size of the meal, just modify it to fit your needs. Okay, so I actually have 2 farm fresh eggs right in here. The recipe calls for 1 egg, but that's only if you're making maybe 3 or 4 breasts. So I have several that I'm doing today to get ready for company coming for dinner. Okay, so I'm going to take my chicken and I just dip it right in here into the egg. And meanwhile, I have some olive oil and maybe a couple of tablespoons of butter in my pan ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the egg mixture, just actually egg yolk, beaten egg, and then into my breaded. I'm going to put this on about medium high and keep it going. Okay, I've got all my chicken in the pan, and you might have to add a little bit more olive oil. This is all going to be your preference of how to do this. There's plenty in here, and I'm going to be putting this on about medium high to fry these up. And once you have got them all nice and crusty on both sides, that's when we'll be putting them into our dish. I'm going to repeat with the other half chicken breast that I have. So I have plenty in my large dish to feed the crowd that I'm going to be having tonight. So I'll show you in a minute what these look like when they come out of the pan. Okay, I have my first batch finished, but let me show you what I'm doing with my second batch, which I neglected to tell you about, which will make it a little tastier. So once I get all the chicken in here, this one's kind of falling apart. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic salt on here, just to season it, and a little bit of Italian seasoning since we're not using an Italian breadcrumb. And I've been cooking these in a little bit of butter and olive oil for maybe about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So if they're cooking up nicely, let me show you the ones that we've already got prepared, how they look and how they're brown. Now they're still not totally cooked in the middle. That means when we finally get them in the oven, we want to give them at least 30 to 40 minutes for all the cheeses to melt and for the chicken to finish cooking inside. I'll be back in just a moment to show you how the chicken all laid out and how we layer the chicken. The step is that we have our chicken all laid out in our casserole dish. And my husband, who lived in Italy for 2 years, just told me, hey, to make it really authentic, we have to have some prosciutto on top. So we have just happened to have prosciutto, which we decided here at the last minute to put on top of our chicken. Of course, you can make it without prosciutto. Most people don't have it in their fridge, but knowing my husband, you would know he has it on hand. So here we are. We've got a little bit of prosciutto on top of our chicken breast. They're all nicely seasoned. Now the first thing we're going to do is add some mozzarella cheese to the top. And so I'm not measuring this, I'm just doing it by sight and deciding how much I want. Because we are going to add a little bit at the end on top as well. So this is why you need a deep dish, because once we get the chicken in here, and a little bit of Parmesan right here as well. This is my favorite shredded Parmesan right here. We're going to put a little bit of that on top. Okay. Then we're going to add our sauce. The reason we're doing this sauce last, like as if you're making a lasagna or something, is that you want the cheeses to melt and not burn. So we're putting the sauce, and I'm not measuring this either. I'm just doing this by eye. And I have another little dish I'm going to be using. So now the thing about this dish is that you don't cover this. You're going to let this heat all the way through until it's all hot and bubbly. Now I'm going to put it on for 30 minutes. If it's not all hot and bubbly and cheese melted and the chicken cooked through, then I'll probably put it for another 5 or 10 minutes. But I'm going to start with 30 minutes because our chicken is not a whole piece of chicken. It's a half sliced chicken, so it should cook fairly quickly. We just want the cheeses and sauces to meld nicely. So I'll check this in 30 minutes and show you how it's baking at 350 degrees for probably about 40 minutes. You can tell that it's going to be finished. I checked the chicken to make sure that it is done. It was bubbling all the way around the edges. I did take it out about 5 minutes ago and put lots of more cheese on top. It's going to be very cheesy. So I'm going to take it out right now and just show you one of the chicken breasts. And you can put a little bit more sauce on it if you want. Okay, it's ready to go. The final plate, it's got the capellini spaghetti and of course the Parmesan chicken that we just made, and I'm serving this with some green beans and bacon. Okay, this is one of our holiday meals. We're serving some guests tonight. So if you want to copy what I'm doing, go right ahead and try it. It's going to be great. Your guests will love it.